All right, ladies and gentlemen, holy shit, we still have a podcast. Can you believe it? Welcome to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined here as usual by my co-host, Kristen, and we're joined by a special guest. He is the host of the Talking TV podcast. It's our boy, Dom. He's back in the building for this late night rendezvous. This is an interesting episode because right now it is almost 11 o'clock at night. So we just said, fuck it. We're doing a late night stream and we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, but we're also
finally
we're also going to go over some of our favorite movies from the 2024 summer movie season, since we're officially in the fall season. So I guess we should probably get started first before
late at night. I don't know what the hell you two are talking about. I just woke up.
Oh my God.
You just woke up.
But Dom, welcome back to the show.
Happy to be here. You know I love coming on with you guys.
Anything?
It's always a fun time.
How's everything been? Everything's been good?
It's been good, just finish up with the summer, was just celebrating Albany up Labor Day up in Albany, getting absolutely torched with my friends. Now I'm about to roll up a joint and get absolutely torched some more in order to talk about Deadpool and some good summer movies.
All right, perfect. Then Kristen, you're doing good too.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, I'm hanging on. Well, that's because I'm exhausted. Because you know what I saw today? Speaking of summer movies,
I think you saw something with a bird.
Yes, a bird. I saw a bird today. Not just any bird, but the crow.
Oh God, that's worse. No offense, that's worse than the bronchitis. I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
When someone dies, the soul cannot rest until you put the wrong things right. I'm gonna kill them. Every single one of them. Look at what you've become. You were given the power of that god. You have no idea what hell awaits you. No, I do.
Yes, I saw The Crow, and it was awful. It was awful. I was like, all right, I was like, let me give this film a fair shot, because I was given the tickets for free, and I was like with my friends, and we're like, you know, let's just go see it. Let's just go see it. All three of us hated it. Like, there was no redeeming qualities of anything. Nothing could save this movie. And I'm really sad about it because I love Bill Skarsgård. I think he is so talented. And he was not the person to play this superhero, And this is like a reboot too. It's like, I always thought it was like a remake, and back in my head, I was like, no, this is actually a reboot. So, and I was like kind of like in a deep dive before we hopped on today about like what's the future of this property, even though there's like no future. But Lionsgate was saying like, oh, we have possibilities of a sequel. And this was before the terrible box office, play out. So I don't think there's going to be a sequel. So we all don't need to worry.
Hollywood makes a movie about iconic legend's son who tragically passes away on the set of the movie, similar to how his dad passed away very young, and is like, okay, this is a source of trauma for a lot of different people, and it kind of also contributed somewhat to the success of the movie. Let's make a remake of it.
Yeah.
Well, this remake got like, it was in production hell because they went through a few, because Jason Momoa was going to play him, but then he dropped out. So that's there, like Bill Skarsgård, and then everyone's like, "Why are you remaking this?" And then that first image of him as
someone corrected me and was like, "Oh, it's a reboot," and I was like, "Oh, sorry."
At this point, if you care about the continuity of the Crow, you're a loser. Get the hell off the internet, loser.
So I had to remix my video today.
You know your movie's bad when you make people be like, "Huh, Madam Web, was it really as bad as we thought it was?"
I'm telling you, Dom.
After watching The Crow, I was like, maybe Madam Web is the Citizen Kane of bad movies for this year.
At least Madam Web was entertaining. Like, I've seen Borderlands. Borderlands was just boring.
Yeah, I will give it. I will give Madam Web credit that, because The Crow is just so painfully boring.
Wow. So far, my 2024 movie bingo is kicking ass, because I've missed all three of the worst movies of the year so far. That's impressive.
Which ones did you miss?
I didn't watch Madam Web, I didn't watch Borderlands, and I didn't watch The Crow. The only bad movie that I've seen so far this year is Argyle.
And that was supposed to be, and that was sad because that was supposed to be like really good, and that was also like really bad.
I'm sorry. Anybody who saw the first trailer thought this was going to be good. I was like, I saw the first trailer.
I liked it, and
as soon as I saw that the whole Henry Cavill bit was a fake out for the actual plot of the movie, I'm like, fuck this movie. I'm like, this movie's gonna be total ass. I thought I was right.
I still haven't seen it.
You're not missing anything.
much.
All I know is that it's Kingsman, and like I'll stick to the Kingsman movies.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. The Kingsman twist doesn't even make sense. Like,
Yeah.
at the very least, if they just ended it where they ended it, it wouldn't have been good, but it would have at least made sense. But then I have to throw the stupid Kingsman twist. I'm like, what? I'm like,
I was like, where was this coming from?
Yeah.
Like it didn't connect in ways. Like it should have just been left like as an author thing, and she had to go on this mission, and that was
They
it.
could have
She
pulled an
didn't-
Alan. I know you don't play video games, Kristen, but they could have pulled. Sounds like they could have pulled an Alan Wake, because I think Alan Wake, it's a video game. He's an author, and he wrote technically Max Payne in the same universe. So it's like that. So, but it doesn't sound like they did that at all. But
They did not.
Okay, so I guess I'm not missing much. But
You are not.
Yeah, I can't wait for our end of year list. It's gonna be a 3-way tie. What's the worst? Borderlands, Madam Web, or The Crow? Vote on your cell phones now. But
I
let's
have a
get
better
into-
idea. What if you guys do a debate where you debate what the worst movie of the year was, and you have each person try to argue the merits of why their movie sucks the most? That could be really entertaining. I don't know about you. That could be really entertaining.
Mac, we
That's a-
should put that down on the.
That's a Christmas live
the-
stream. The Christmas
should
Eve
put that
live stream.
down on the
That could
notebook.
be the sequel to the Duel of the Fates script read.
Yes, actually, I was
Oh my
thinking
god,
about doing
Don, you wanna brainstorm YouTube
full-
team
I'm-
collaboration?
I'm full of good ideas. You know that I would be happy to host that. I will obviously be taking no part in it because I don't go out of my way to watch bad movies anymore. It's not 2021.
You want
But
to be the
I would
host?
happily,
Somebody's gotta do like
host that.
tag team though. Like Mac and I gotta be on the team.
Yes. Oh,
That's
I would,
the thing,
I
and then
would
you gotta find like 2 other
happily,
people.
happily help with that to help facilitate that. That would be my pleasure.
And then you gotta get like Dustin to do it. I feel like Dustin would do a really
Oh,
good job.
Dustin would hop on that. Dustin would hop on that for sure.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah, all right, let's get into the topic today. Deadpool Wolverine. It made a
Yeah.
shit ton of money, right? It's the
Yep.
highest grossing rated R movie, and
Who
this
could have
is the
seen that
only-
one coming?
this is the only R-rated film, R-rated this is the first R-rated Marvel movie of the MCU, and it's the only Marvel cinematic movie we're getting all year. So everything else is on TV or on Disney Plus. So this is the third Deadpool movie, and it brings back Hugh Jackman. I call him Huge Jackman, and it takes place with Deadpool just trying to save his timeline and trying to get Wolverine from another timeline to stop some shit going down. So this one did all the records, and it's blowing up. If you've been on TikTok, you've probably seen Channing Tatum as Gambit. He's about to make a name for himself.
He's already made a name for himself, baby.
Oh, yes, he has.
So no, I guess we can all say we've all seen it. So luckily, it took me a while because Dom messaged me a week later. He's like, "Dude, you finally saw it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking saw it, dickhead."
Hey, you were the one who didn't take my advice and get the tickets when I told you to get the tickets.
I was like,
So I don't want to hear anything about that. That is on you.
But anywho, I saw it. It was a packed house. Everyone was having fun with it. Worst thing is that I already knew the spoilers. Wesley Snipes is back, Jennifer Gardner, Daphne Keane. Everyone's like, "Well, fuck it." But
Emma
yeah, no,
Corrin.
yeah,
Just
it
in it.
was a fun movie. I liked it. I guess the big debate is that is it more cameos over story, or does it hold up itself as a film? So I'll start with Dom. Dom, what did you think of Deadpool Wolverine?
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
My first thoughts going into this was, okay, I just wanted a fun movie summer.
Uh-huh.
It's bad enough that almost every movie so far this year has not only been not fun, but also has just felt like, how do I put this? It's been a drag, honestly. Like even Twisters, something that is purposefully going out of its way to be nothing but dumb, entertaining fun.
I love
I
Twisters.
couldn't even enjoy my time with that. I'm like, you have a movie that's predicated about hot people chasing tornadoes, and you can't even have them make out at the end? Like,
Oh my gosh.
just completely
I
misunderstanding
don't
the point.
mind that they didn't kiss.
I'm just like, are we missing the reason why people go to movies in the first place? I was really starting to lose faith. It's been a rough summer to say the least, where all of the best movies of the summer all got crowded into May, and they all flopped with the exception of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Then
Oh,
Inside
yeah?
Out 2 was the only movie that made money in June. And my two favorite movies in the summer at that point were Kinds of Kindness and Quiet Place Part 2. And I'm like, okay, I think we're in trouble. And then when Long Legs turned out to not only be overrated, but also just like, wow, people didn't even give that a chance coming out of it. I'm like, okay, I think we're really in trouble. So honestly, thank God we had Deadpool first and foremost. Because honestly, forget the summer. I don't even know if we would have a movie year after that. Because when I made my prediction about Dune 2, I knew I was going to be right. I just didn't know how right I was going to be in the sense of, wow, not only did every movie just pack it in and go home, they didn't even try. Like the studios weren't even trying, it felt like, to put out the best offerings this year. Like you would think that at the very least, in a strike affected year, they would at least try to put something. Nope. There's just been no effort. So honestly, very similar to how Dune 2 was competing in a what's it called? What basically had no competition for the year. I feel like we can kind of say the same thing about Deadpool, because Deadpool is basically competing in an area where it had no competition. So like the bar was already pretty low, you know? And again, the Deadpool movies are not bad. They're good, entertaining movies, you know? It's just the fact of Ryan Reynolds as a personality has become so overpowering in today's pop culture phenomenon that people almost are fooled into forgetting that, oh, Deadpool, the thing that made him, is legitimately great. Almost like he is legitimately great and funny and charming. He's never been bad in a movie. So, what's it called? Where was I going with this? So, my point being is that the bar was already pretty low for Deadpool and Wolverine. It was already going to be a pretty solid movie to begin with. So I will fully admit by saying that my love for the movie comes not necessarily from its quality, but from the bias of the fact that there are literally almost no other good movies to watch for the year. But with that being said, I do still think it is a legitimately good movie, regardless of the fact that I had such a good time with it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fair. I had a great time with Deadpool and Wolverine. Definitely one of my favorite, I think, fun experiences at the film so far I've seen this year, aside from like, Twisters and, I know you're not a fan of it, Dom. But Furiosa, and like, it was definitely like one of the
Furiosa.
fun times. So like fun times at the theater that I really liked. Can it compare to The Fall Guy? Absolutely not. Because I had more to take away from The Fall Guy, because that connected with me more than Deadpool and Wolverine. But it's garnered my interest a little bit in the MCU and like what they can do with R-rated material if they find the right people for it. And I had a great time with the cast itself.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was just fun. Like, I think of it as just No Way Home. No Way Home, it has its problems, but it was a fun MC movie. Like, Deadpool Wolverine was definitely, you knew what you were getting for the first, they're bringing back Hugh Jackman, who was done with the role. And it's like, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I know what you're going to do. And I was just fun, because it's like, I'm in the theater watching it, and I'm like, man, you know what? It's fun to have movies like this. It just makes you like appreciate going to the theaters, being with a group of people, and just watching something that's entertaining. Like the opening scene
Absolutely.
with the opening scene with NSYNC, that was literally everyone was like, I was like, okay. And then like I did question, like I said to my dad, I was like,
That
what
is
the
the
hell? I was
TikTok
like,
trend at the moment, like one of them.
I told my dad, I'm like, what the hell are we watching? I'm watching a man desecrate another man's corpse and killing everyone. And I was like, okay, I think I like this. And I think what I liked about this one is that I feel in terms of comedy, I laughed a little bit more than the first two. Like I think the other two are funny, but
The in-universe
just...
jokes and them taking full advantage of the fact that they can actually now poke fun at the MCU, which they were a part of, was used to full advantage here.
I think what I like the most is that I think the story for this did work, because I liked how this movie was kind of a celebration of Fox too. It was a celebration of kind of like a dissing you of Fox, especially with the whole Void thing, because if you're a true pop culture nerds like us, you could probably be like pointing your finger like, oh, that's the Fantastic Car. And like my dad thought Chris Evans was gonna be Captain America. I'm like, no, that's Johnny Storm.
Yeah,
and
that was cool. That was cool. I like that. That was fun. That was a good bit.
Everyone keeps forgetting that, like, yeah, that's where baby Chris Evans got to start with, was Johnny Storm. And I like that joke with that. And they had fun just bringing back people and bringing back characters. They're like, holy crap, like you forgot about that. Like, oh yeah, they were gonna make the Gambit movie. We had Elektra, or we had these other just forms of Fox that just don't exist. It just threw them away, and it's just funny to me. It was just funny. But
You know what's funny is, so obviously the Chris Evans bit, as soon as I saw that, I lost my mind, and I'm like, this is incredible.
I
And it's
was
funny
freaking out in my seat.
because a bunch of clips from those 2000s Fantastic Four movies have been popping in, specifically of Chris Evans, and I'm just looking back and I'm like, those movies really weren't as. First of all, I've never thought those movies were as bad as everybody said they were.
thank you.
But but looking back, I'm like, wow, these are actually kind of good, and actually they do kind of capture the spirit of the Fantastic Four pretty well.
It makes them a family.
Yeah. But you know what it is that I finally realized, that it should be until Deadpool Wolverine. Now, keep this in mind. We have been with Deadpool live action wise for a long time. A long time. You know, if you go back even before the first one, which the fact that it's been 8 fucking years since that first movie premiered is insane. But if you go all the way back to X-Men Origins with the first time they bastardized him, which is what ironically led to all of this, the thing that I think sells Deadpool as a character and why he's so appealing specifically to like the people, and why he was really the perfect insert, and really if you go along with the meta commentary of the movie, the perfect person to save the MCU and pull them up from the drought that they've kind of been in post-COVID, is the fact that Deadpool, at the heart of hearts, aside from all the meta commentary, he's a fan. Right? If you think about it, right, throughout the course of the 3 movies, he is always fanboying out about like the different aspects of like the superhero universe that he's been in. Like he's constantly like, you know, he's in awe of Wolverine throughout this whole movie, specifically of Jackman. He makes the bit about the superhero landing at the end of the first one when he sees Juggernaut, and when Juggernaut rips him in half, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're my favorite X-Men villain." He works as a fan. So the fact that it's so that, and that's also the thing that sells the fourth wall breaking, of the thing that She-Hulk missed horribly, which is that he ultimately is embodying the fanboy in all of us, which is that if we were living in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or any superhero universe, we would be freaking out and geeking out just like him. And so that's what makes to me at least, what makes all of his jokes work, is the fact that he is coming at them from a fan perspective. You know, it's a loving perspective. It's not too biting. It's not too satirical or mean-spirited. It comes from a good place. That's why I think it's so appealing, on top of all just the super violence and the cursing and everything else.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a majority of the heart of what I think Marvel wants to do going forward, besides also making themselves to be a cash grab because of certain events that have come up in the fate of MCU with, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and that return of stuff. You know, that's another discussion, even though we did discuss a majority of that in our major Twisters episode with our friend David from Ultimate Movie Account, you know, with the fate of that.
Well, I mean, it's a simple process in the sense of where Marvel seems to be the only company that is actually looking back at the mistakes they've made. Really, the entire industry has made throughout COVID and coming out of it. And they're so far the only ones that seem to be reevaluating and making the right steps, where they've drastically pulled back on the amount of content they've been putting out. They've scrapped a lot of projects that they knew were going to be bombs. They fired a lot of key people behind the scenes who were causing a lot of their stuff to really go bad. And also, if you look at just the footage that's been put out from the 3 movies that they've got coming out next year, Blade's not coming out. I'm sorry, that's not happening. Especially after
we were
this
just discussing that before you hopped online.
It's never happening. Like, I refuse to believe that movie has ever come out. But let me put it this way: I believe that there will be a live action Star Wars movie in theaters before we get Blade. You heard it here first. But
I mean, that's a fair discussion to say, or agree, or you know.
But also, there's the fact that what's it called? The fan perspective, everything. I mean, you just look at the footage that they put out for the 3 movies that are coming out next year. They all look incredible. They look even with the goofy looking Red Hulk CGI footage, and I can even tell that was leaked. So like that CG is not complete yet. But like, all 3 of those movies look good in a way that that's the biggest problem too, is visually the Marvel movies have really like their CG has been unimpressive the last couple of turns. Guardians 3 and Spider-Man No Way Home are really the only ones that got away with it, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. And it's interesting now, because now that you say that, Marvel's really taking their look at themselves in the mirror and being like, we did something wrong in the last 3-4 years. And knowing now they have to realize they need to take their time. People need a break from all the superhero films. People need to, you know, get their palates cleansed every once in a while, and there will be an audience for them. There's no denying that. Yeah, people will go out and see it.
I agree. The audience and the box office has shown that people still love the MCU and want it to keep going and they just want it to be good. And the stuff that we've been getting from them has just not been good.
Yeah, even if it's like a lackluster, box office return with like, the Marvels, for an example, people will go out and watch it. There's like no denying that. Even with the TV shows, with the success of, even though whatchamacallit was Secret Invasion wasn't had a wide appeal to many people tuned in.
The biggest difference that they're taking in approaching to their TV is they're doing kind of what they did back with in the latter Netflix days. They're pulling their movies and keeping them separate from the TV shows, so they're not making us dependent on watching the TV shows in order to know what's going on with the movies as well, which is very smart if you ask me. And they're also pulling back on the number of TV shows. Like it's the biggest ones. It's Wonder Man, Vision Quest, Nova, which hasn't been announced yet, and they're really more so focusing on their animated department, which is doing way better. I mean, look at the success of X-Men 97 in the first quarter of this year. And just as far as generating hype for the X-Men to be back, I feel like between that project and this project, in addition to obviously just regenerating goodwill for the MCU, it's about getting us excited for the X-Men as well, which is smart if you ask me. Because the two biggest really missing components from the initial Infinity Saga were the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. We're getting the Fantastic Four next year, but it's the MCU's Fantastic Four. They've also deliberately gone out of their way to kill off both the fan casting and the OG casting from the 2000s movies in order to ensure, our Fantastic Four is going to be its own thing,
Yeah. Now moving into a different thing that goes back to the Deadpool and Wolverine thing. Do you all think, and this is a joke that comes up in the film, they're gonna keep dragging on Hugh Jackman until he's 90? Do you all think we're gonna get more Wolverine, or is it like Hugh Jackman's like, yeah, I'm done. This was just to do a favor for my friend.
I think he's done. They already feel like they're gonna have someone do it. It was just more of like, hey, you wanted that Deadpool Wolverine movie. Here you go. And it's Marvel's like, hey, we did that. Screw you, Fox. You're dead. We bought you, so we can have that now. And then be like, okay, we can bring in someone fresh. But I'll never say never, because the way they set it up is that this isn't the main timeline. It is his still universe. So there could be a Wolverine running around still. So
I mean, it was a possibility because we have Henry Cavill showing up, which was another cameo. I feel like
he's not going to be
people...
Wolverine.
I know.
Wolverine.
I know he won't be.
That was another fan gratification, like Krasinski.
I just loved that cameo, like what you said, that brings up John Krasinski. And it's funny that you bring up that even section, because those were like another, what if internet casting. You want to see fan casting? Here you go. Marvel will sprinkle it in to make people happy. Well, but I like seeing.
Well, the difference too is that the difference between this movie and other MCU what's it called, celebrity casts is obviously we got Patrick Stewart back for Multiverse of Madness, and we got Toby and Andrew back, but the every single cameo in this movie that was like a major part, with the exception of Cassandra Nova, who's a new character who we haven't seen before.
Yeah,
they're all returning players from previous movies. There were no like new recastings or fan castings, like Chris Evans, Wesley Snipes, Jennifer Garner, Daphne Keane, Channing Tatum, obviously, but he was going to be. Yeah. And then even we're forgetting too, Aaron Stanford as Pyro and Tyler Mane as Sabretooth in the one-off cameos. Yeah. They're all returning people who have been in previous movies. Obviously the rogues gallery of X-Men villain cosplay lookalikes that they got, none of them were the real actors. I'm trying to remember how many. We saw a lot in there too. It was standards for Juggernaut, Blob, Toad, Psylocke, Deathstrike.
Azrael was like the only one that looked like the same.
Azazel.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, but that's makeup, so that's easy. I even think somebody even pointed out that Bullseye was in there too. So like
I saw that, yeah.
There's a bunch of people littered in there,
It was wild with that fight scene in general. Moving on to something else I wanted to ask that was on the tip of my tongue and now I'm forgetting. No, never mind.
So Deadpool, it's a fun film.
It was a fun film. What did you think it was Sean Levy's best film?
Oh, absolutely not. But that's not a Sean Levy movie. That's a Ryan Reynolds movie.
That's Ryan Reynolds all the way.
Yeah, 100%. Like this, that's the other thing too. This is the most creative control that Ryan Reynolds has had over any of the Deadpool movies, which is kind of insane when you think about that. And I'm like, for that reason alone, it's not the best Deadpool movie, but I can see why it's like the perfect like kind of wrap up for this initial Deadpool trilogy. Like, it does still kind of wrap up the first two movies, you know? Because if you think about it, like the fact that they pretty much ignored all of his initial side characters and kind of only threw them in that opening scene was kind of impressive, but like they weren't needed for this, if you ask me, you know?
No, they weren't.
Like you didn't even miss TJ Miller. Like you didn't even really care that he's not even there anymore, you know? Because it had been so long, and like the way that was incorporated, like certain characters didn't need to be there, you know? Like the only other character from his universe that really had a major part was Peter, which I think is hilarious that he just like liked Rob Delaney that much. Rob Delaney also, by the way, who is killing it right now on Apple TV Plus's Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn, which you guys should absolutely watch. That show's fantastic. Bill Lawrence,
so good.
So far has not missed yet. Although I am slightly worried about Shrinking season 2 because Shrinking season 1 had problems. But
Shrinking was good. I'm excited for Shrinking 2. Hoping that it turns out good, but I was impressed with Bad Monkey. It's definitely one of my favorites, like unexpected
really
favorites of the year.
It's really good.
But anyway, one more thing I want to say about the film, and you brought up the characters. Emma Corrin, did you enjoy their performance?
Right, they were great. They were great. Matthew McFadden was great. There wasn't a bad performance in this movie. Even like the tiny insert from Wonmi Musaku's character from Loki, when she comes in and literally all she does is just fantasize over Peter, which actually like shouldn't work but does. And then also, guys, we're forgetting the secret weapon of this. Obviously, Corinne is phenomenal, like really, really good, and it's just absolutely having a ball. But we're forgetting about Matthew McFadden as Paradox.
He's so good.
Oh my God! First of all, can we just talk about the fact that other than Brian Cox, who is now the voice of McDonald's and was already the most well-known and highest paid actor of the Succession cast, Matthew McFadden, the fact that he got the biggest post-Succession check, like, is phenomenal to me. Like, and it's great to see that the Succession cast is like staying relevant and picking parts that like suit them, which is great. Like Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice, and Kieran Culkin in Real Pain, and Sarah Snook with her like indie Netflix work. But the fact that Matthew McFadden is now like the biggest star coming off Succession should tell you like about his appeal as an actor. Like he's always like had the movie star charisma. He just needed that, and it's put to perfect use here. Like he goes toe to toe with Reynolds. It's great. His comedic timing is phenomenal. He even does great, and like they use his they bring back his natural British accent, which is awesome because that works so well as him being the combination of like the goofy British villain, but also actually kind of being competent. He just does get like, you know, get constantly outwitted by forces that are outside of his control, but like he also delivers the exposition perfectly. Like he's awesome. Like Tom Wamsgans for life. He won Succession, and he's low-key won Deadpool. So
I really enjoyed him in that. And that sums up pretty much what I have to say even about Matthew. But Mac, anything else you want to add?
It'll be interesting to see how they incorporate him to the MCU. That's all.
If they do.
I don't think they will,
I think he's a one-off. He's a one-off for sure.
So you think it was just to say, hey, here you go, here's Deadpool. And like I said, the way they did it, since it's not, the timeline isn't, this is his own timeline, this is his own, but you have that back pocket to, if you want to put him in. So you could maybe, I think the way that they did it, because I was like Deadpool 3, I'm like, so it's going to take place in the main MCU, but I think the way they did it is pretty good to have it.
It was pretty perfect. And the fact that we didn't see that he didn't visit the main 616 timeline at all, I thought was like,
well, I thought he did. I thought he did to the Avengers interview he had in the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh my God, you're right. He did. Wow. Fuck.
So
okay. Roll that one back.
Yeah. So I said, I think it's good for them to have him stick to his own universe. Yeah. But like I said, if you're gonna do the incursion events since you're gonna do Doctor Doom with Doomsday, you could bring him back and maybe do some of those characters.
I have a crazy take. Crazy take. He is going to be the main character in either Doomsday or Secret Wars opposite Downey. He's not going to be like a supporting part. I have a feeling it'll be Secret Wars because it's going to be him, Jackman, and Tobey Maguire as the three co-leads. They're still going to revolve it around those three somehow. But because they're going to make them the survivors of whatever Doomsday calamity happens at the end of Doomsday. So yeah, that's my crazy take. And oh shit, there was something else I was going to say that I totally forgot. All right, continue, guys. I'll remember it in a bit.
Well, no, but I think that's it. What do you all give Deadpool in terms of grading? I gave it like a B+, but I think in terms of rewatching, I might rank it up a little bit more, maybe to like an A-, because that's just how much I really enjoyed it. But I thought a B+ was fair.
I forgot what I gave it. I think it was right between A- and a B+. But I'm gonna say A- just for the sake.
This got 4, I think, initially, but I pushed it up to 4.5 just because of how much I enjoyed it. And I haven't rewatched it since it came out, but I do plan on it. Obviously, it's just a matter of like
I really
getting
want to
through
rewatch
all
it.
these fucking, movies and TV shows that I have to watch. But yeah, for me, like in letter grades, that's an A. So
But before we wrap things up, it's the end of summer.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your all's favorite film for the summer?
Shout to your heart, before too late, you give love a bad name.
So good.
Oh, good.
Shout to the heart, and you're too late, darling. You give love a bad name.
It's the Fall Guy, and that's it.
yeah, it's Fall Guy.
It's
Gotta
Fall-
be Fall Guy. I mean, I could cheat and say The Substance, but that still technically hasn't come out yet, and it's technically a fall movie, even though Substance might be the best movie of the year so far. But
I
yeah,
wanna
it's
see
Fall
it.
Guy.
Substance, I think, is going to be really, really great. I'm excited to see how that is going to
It's
turn
really good.
out.
It's really
For
that was the
me-
easiest 5 I've given all year. All year.
For me, it's the Fall Guy. I think for theatrical experiences, I really loved the Fall Guy. However, last week I saw Strange Darling.
Yeah, that one's good too. That one's really good.
I absolutely adored it. Like it was like for me it was like a perfect film, like A+, like everything like I love about thriller, horror in general, and just what the whole like that area of film that I love does, and I was like blown away. So I am like, oh, do I want to rate this higher? And then I was like, oh, I also really loved Hitman as well with Glenn Powell. And then, I love, Twisters. And then there was a lot. I was impressed with what I saw from the summer in terms of like the bigger blockbuster stuff. Even Furiosa, which we talked about on here, was really, really great. So I was impressed with the summer, I must say. And I'm excited to see what the fall brings, because I think it's going to be a very, very interesting award season, fall season.
Well,
To say the least.
I liked Fall Guy the most because it was just fucking awesome. But I gotta give a shout out to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I think that's like in my top 3 this year for me because I love that movie so much. And because I'm a Planet of the Apes guy, so there's no bias in it at all. What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up.
No. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. How do I phrase this? It's a really well made, unnecessary movie. Like we don't need it at all. Like it's good, but
I thought that
Yeah.
too when they were like, because I think the new trilogy with Andy Serkis was perfect, and
and they ended that so perfectly. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
it did.
it's the equivalent to me. You guys are really gonna hate me for this. To me, Kingdom is the equivalent of Toy Story 4. That's what it is. It's live action.
I mean, I haven't seen Kingdom yet, but because I didn't have the chance to, it's on Hulu now,
I like,
and I'm gonna watch it at some point. I just haven't done it yet. So
I can see what you say about Toy Story 4 because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna start a new trilogy, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's
I
good.
mean,
I liked it, but
yeah.
It
And
also made that movie also made the unmistakable sin of killing off the best character in the movie halfway through. So and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Although I did like Maxis as a villain because I did give the like, what a wonderful day.
Yeah, he was good. Kevin Durant's good. Kevin Durant's good in anything.
Also, give a shout out to Abigail. That was actually a very sleeper hit.
Not a
that was
summer
like in
movie.
the spring.
Not a summer movie. That's an
it
April movie.
Really?
Yep,
Yeah,
came out in April. I saw it
April.
in theaters when it came
We
out.
did. We saw. Didn't we talk about it?
No, we didn't.
Yes.
I didn't.
Yes, we did because we talked about that in Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
I wanted to
Oh,
see
I
that so
wasn't on for
bad.
that one. Then I did talk about Abigail with somebody.
Yeah.
So May's the start of the summer movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me so Furiosa, yeah. How about
Yeah.
How about Strangers Chapter 1? Did we like that?
Did not see
Nobody
it.
saw that.
I saw it.
When did you see it?
I can't reveal those sources on here recording, but like it was definitely, yeah. I can't believe we're getting 2 more movies of it. I'm so confused on how they're
Maybe.
gonna do it. No, we are. They already got it filmed. They filmed 1 and 2
I know,
back to
no,
back.
but they
Oh.
didn't ask the release date. That's what I mean. I know because we talked about the strangers.
Maybe it'll come out during Christmas. So we'll have Mufasa versus Sonic 3 versus the Strangers Part 2. That'll be
Somebody kill me now.
That's the lineup.
Somebody please kill me now.
You'd be like, man,
It's the worst Christmas lineup I've ever seen. Ever. In my entire lifetime.
Thank
This
God
is
for
the
Nosferatu.
This is the worst fucking Christmas lineup I have ever seen. Jesus Christ.
they're like, man, I don't know. Should I go see Mufasa Sonic 3 or Strangers Chapter 2? The choices are endless. Or maybe I'll go see Wicked.
Oh my, if that'll probably still be in theaters, honestly, by then.
Yeah, Wicked will
Oh Lord.
hopefully be okay.
Oh,
I will
Lord.
ask y'all this. What was the surprise film of the summer for you? Because for me, I think it was probably Twisters, because I had zero faith in that being
I'm gonna
good,
go
and I
out of
was
left
entertained.
field because I'm gonna say a movie that I guarantee you two have not seen, and probably almost nobody has seen, whoever listens to this. It's this Indian movie called Kill. It was recommended.
heard of that.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
It was recommended to me by Nathaniel. It is directed by Nikhil Nagesh Bhatt. The summary: when an army commando finds out his true love is engaged against her will, he boards a New Delhi-bound train in a daring quest to derail the arranged marriage. But when a gang of knife-wielding assassins, that's how scary these guys are, they didn't use guns, they used knives, begin terrorizing innocent passengers on his train, the commando takes them on himself in a death-defying kill spree to save those around him, turning what should have been a typical commute into an adrenaline-fueled thrill ride. This movie, first of all, besides being a tight hour 40, like a tight hour 40, this movie is so badass. They didn't flash the title of the movie, Kill, until halfway through the movie. Halfway through the movie, after the biggest twist of the movie happens. And that was at the halfway point. And then the rest of the movie, you're just like, oh, it just, I can't say anything about what happens in this movie, but it's phenomenal. The villain of this movie is got to be one of the most charming, but also most terrifying villains I've seen in any action movie recently. It's awesome.
My dad and I love action movies just like that, because it's like
this
we
needs
started
to go in the pantheon with like The Raid and like John Wick and
Well,
like
so,
all the other,
we didn't get to see it, but then I still saw it because I watched Monkey Man the other night and I liked that, and I was like,
I still
damn,
gotta watch that.
Monkey Man's good, but this whoops Monkey Man's ass.
I was like, damn, what was that other movie you saw a trailer for? I saw one trailer for it, and I think that was right before Furiosa, and then I didn't see anything else about it, and then I'm like, man, and then like no one has talked about it. You're like the first person out of the Instagram I've actually seen like mentioned it. Like you're like, it's like I was like, I want to watch it because I do like really action like that, and it looks like it's all one take, isn't it?
It's not one take, no.
Okay.
But it is no, there are some cuts, but the action sequences flow very smoothly. I wanted to give a couple of other shout outs to some of my other favorites of the summer as well. We covered some of the big mainstream ones. We covered Fall Guy. First off, Alien, Romulus, my birthday movie. Phenomenal. It was one of the best times I've had in the theater all summer and really all year in general. It was nice to not only have a really good Alien movie, but a great Alien movie. This movie was so good, and it incorporated the elements from all the Alien movies, good and the bad, that it's literally made me want to go back and watch some of the other Alien movies. Like I rewatched Prometheus a couple years ago. It was actually much better than I remember it. Like those movies have actually kind of aged really well within the larger overall chronology and context of the Alien franchise. And Romulus, I thought, did it incredibly well and added some really new, fun, inventive things, as well as just having incredible effects and atmosphere. Just some, not all, but good contributions to the overall Alien franchise. So yeah, I thought that was great. Trap, M. Night Shyamalan. Oh man, he's continuing his comeback spree.
My favorite.
Oh my
we
god.
talked about that on your show.
Oh my god, this movie, phenomenal. Just one of the best times I've had in the theater. Like August, I had two of my absolute favorite times in a theater this year. Our audience for Trap could not have been better. Could not have been better. We understood. We had a spiritual connection to Shyamalan. We're like, we understand you. We know when this is going to get goofy. We know when the plot's going to make no sense, but we know that at a certain point, it's going to get really fucking good. And we're not going to be able to tune out until the end. And it was exactly that. And he gets possibly, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I want to say this is the best lead performance that I've seen in a Shyamalan movie, probably since Joaquin Phoenix in The Village was the last good one. This is the best one since then. Hartnett is phenomenal, and he understands exactly what he's doing. It's kind of weird how synonymous the behavior patterns of like a goofy, out of touch suburban dad are with like a serial killer. Like you wouldn't think that those would be like two personality traits that mesh, but Hartnett makes that work somehow, and it's amazing. It's so good. Like I love this movie so much.
I love Trap.
Oh,
It was so good.
it
It
was
was
so good.
definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah,
of
Kristen,
the-
you saw Strange Darling. The only thing that I want to add to that is, and you're gonna hate me for this, I saw an advanced screening of that
Oh yeah.
with Carla Gugino, Willa Fitzgerald, the director JT Milner, and Giovanni Ribisi, the cinematographer of that movie, which
Yes.
I cannot get over. It was.
When did you see it?
I saw it literally. It was the week of my birthday, so I saw
Oh,
that.
I know what screening you're talking about.
Yep, I was at that screening.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. It's good to see my AMC subscription being put to good use. That was a fun time. Quiet Place Day 1. I got to give that movie a shout out because
Hell
yeah,
yes.
that was much better than I expected. The Quiet Place slowly like a sneaky quality franchise where every installment it feels like it's talked about less, but every installment has gotten better. Quiet Place 2 was, I thought, leagues better than Quiet Place 1, and now we have Quiet Place Day 1, which is just a phenomenal like character study that takes place against the backdrop of the clickers, and it works so much better than I thought it would. Nyong'o's phenomenal in this. She is like, it's weird. She goes away for like a few years and then she comes out and gives this amazing performance and elevates this like genre movie. She did it for Us, she did it for Little Monsters, and now she's done it for this.
I
Like
love
this is
Little
just like
Monsters.
this is just like the career path. Then occasionally she'll show up in a Black Panther movie, collect a fat paycheck from Disney. I love her career choice so far. It's amazing.
She has really great career choices.
Yeah, it's a smart career choices. I'll say that. Performance wise, I just wish I could get a little bit more out of her. But anyway, so yeah, Quiet Place Day 1, great. Dee Dee, wanted to give that a shout out. Didn't like that as much as I thought I was going to, but still a really good movie, really good kind of throwback to, you know, a simpler time and kind of what it was like growing up, especially from a different cultural perspective as well. I enjoyed that. But overall, I thought it was kind of very derivative of mid-90s, which I thought just felt so much more fresh and original when that came out. And then I saw the TV Glow, was really good too. I very much did enjoy that. It kind of like fell as I saw more movies over the summer, but that was like a really, really good early summer watch that like did surprise me and like did take me on more of like an existential journey than I thought it was going to be. So those movies I thought all kind of set out. Oh, and of course Yorgos with Kinds of Kindness. I mean, come on.
I did not really like that as much.
Oh, I love Kinds of Kindness is going to be. I always have one movie every year that everybody hates or just dislikes, and I love it. It was Beau is Afraid last year. 2022, I don't remember what. Actually, it might have been The Gray Man, but more so in the sense of where like I don't understand why everybody hated that one. It was fine and it delivered on all fronts. And then this year, it's Kinds of Kindness. I'm like, this might be my favorite Yorgos movie. Like every Yorgos movie he's gotten better with, you know.
My surprise for the summer, which I saw at the beginning of the year, but I want more people to see it, and that is Thelma. And I rewatched it 2 times, so I've at least watched this film 3 times. It's the most film I've watched the most this year in terms of new releases. In general for the year. Longlegs, I was pleasantly surprised about. Twisters, I will say as well, I was really surprised about. Trap, great, another great surprise. And A Quiet Place Day 1 really surprised me as well. But I do want to say, I think the most disappointing, like in terms of summer releases, like the film that like really got a film that was really setting my hopes high, but ultimately turned it down because we talked about it on your show,
Yes, we
Dom,
did.
and that is Maxine.
Yep. Big letdown.
I think that
big
that
letdown.
was the biggest letdown for this summer. But then, you know, I bounced back and found something even better or like even more entertaining. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. Like for me to say Trap was better than Maxine, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Which is sad for me to say. Mac, anything else you want to say? Anything else? For the
No, I think that's
biggest
gonna.
surprise?
Real quick,
like I
Chris,
said,
did you
Twisters.
oh yeah, sorry, Mac.
Oh no, it's good. I just said Twisters before,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's really it. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, did anybody see Blink Twice yet?
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I
My
did see that
manager
too.
saw. My manager saw it at work. He fucking loved it.
What were you guys' thoughts on that?
I like a good chunk of it.
Did we just jet off to a billionaire's island with a bunch of strangers?
Oh, he's not a stranger.
He's Slater King.
You having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Everybody's smiling and laughing.
But there's something wrong with this place. Where's Jess?
Who's Jess?
My friend that was in the room next to mine. You remember her, but I don't remember her. Shh. We need to find out what's really going on.
I'm just really happy you came.
Blink twice. Rated R.
I was gonna say, do we want to drop a top 10 of the summer movies?
I don't even have a list for that. I would need to go revisit that.
Matt, do you have a top 10
For what?
for summer movies?
Nah, not really. It's just mostly
Okay.
Fall
Like,
Guy,
yeah.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and
Yeah.
Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, I have Fall Guy. I can't count Substance because it's a fall movie, but it's Substance, Alien, Furiosa, Trap, Deadpool, Sing Sing, Kinds of Kindness, and Quiet Place Day One.
Dom, watch Thelma. I swear to God, it's
Yeah, I
the
know.
best
I need to
film.
watch it.
My husband and I have shown that movie to a couple people already, and
Yeah.
everybody has agreed. It's like
Send me
one
a
of their
screener. I'll watch it if you.
I don't have a screener. It's available
it.
to rent now.
Oh well, that I can just go see it in the theater then for free.
It's already on VOD. It's like $5.99, even less.
I do need to
So,
watch that. But oh yeah,
it's so good.
I also need to give a shout out to Sing Sing as well, which is probably
I
not going to get
really
brought up
wanna
again
see
until
that.
Oscar time. But that was really good. That was really good. It wasn't like. It was probably the best, like, because I thought it was going to be like a play movie, but like it very much was like a movie. And the fact that like it was made with like a lot of heart and a lot of like real passion was put into that in a way that I really haven't gotten from Coleman's performances before. Mostly because he was either doing shit for a paycheck or was just that like shit that like, I'm like, you could do more than this. But this felt like really genuine into his heart. And I hope he does more stuff like this going forward, because it was really good. And honestly, right now, he's my number one to win the Oscar right now. I need to see Complete Unknown in order to see if Timothée Chalamet has a shot at beating it. But right now, it's Coleman's race to lose.
Yeah. I do want to acknowledge, because we had one of the director of Sing Sing, Greg Queener, on our show a couple of years ago. We interviewed him for
Wow.
his film called The Jockey. And then it was like, I think it was in preparations. He was in works to work on Sing Sing. So Mac,
Wow.
that's a throwback, if you remember that.
I do. That's cool. And I think The Jockey was nominated for something too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it was maybe nominated for like Film Independent, but we got to talk to Greg like a while ago. Like,
There you go.
That's super cool.
yeah, that's a throwback.
I'll find it and put it in like the timestamp. I'll point it to the screen and everything.
Yeah, if y'all need to go check out that interview if you haven't, because
There's a whole playlist of all the interviews we've done, and by we I mean Kristen, because she's the one that talks. Because I'm always at work. I'm trying to get more into the interviews. That's the next goal.
Yep, we'll get there. We will get there with you. They gotta do more press days like on a Saturday.
Fucking tell me about it.
So-
But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. This is a very impromptu episode, but it's still our sizzle, the spice.
Summer sizzles.
Yeah, into the fall. Next episode, we're in preparation for the new Joker movie. We're gonna go over the first Joker, how it is now the second highest grossing rated R film of all time, thanks to Deadpool Wolverine knocking it off number one. Yeah, then we're gonna anticipate the next Joker movie and see how it goes. Maybe we'll pull a Murray of our own. Murray. So Dom, Murray, where can the good folks find you, Murray?
At Movie Nerd Reviews across all platforms, at Official Talking TV Podcast across all platforms.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Oh, and one night I gotta announce one thing, guys. I got my own YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kristen is back
Yes.
on the tube, and I shouted it out in the community post she posted on
Yes, thank
Instagram.
you.
I'll link it in the description below. But Kristen, what have you uploaded so far?
I have 2 videos. I have 2 interviews.
Look at
With,
you.
Oh.
you know, it's stuff that I know. I don't think I would have meshed well with the podcast with some films. Like, I'm trying to separate, Mac, what would be like best for the show and what like films would be good for the show, because I know we both have different tastes, but we love to explore films. So I'm like, maybe I'll take this one and put it on the the channel. So I'm still figuring it all out, and so right now there's 2 videos up there, and I'm still working some stuff out. Just if you want to go subscribe, go give it a little subscribe, please.
You subscribe to her, I'll give you a cookie.
Oh, we love cookies here.
Kristen,
Oatmeal
send me
raisin.
the link and I'll check and see if I've subscribed or not.
Oh yeah, sure.
But until then, I've been Mac. This has been Kristen, and this has been Dom, and you've been listening to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. Peace.
Bye.